After last week's Trump tapes were leaked, we were actually pretty surprised to find out that a lot of high-profile Republicans, a significant percentage of the senators and some governors and congresspeople, unendorsed their candidate, Donald Trump. And we gave them some credit for that. You can't give him too much since this is the 900th offensive thing that he has said and done, but we gave them some credit. Perhaps we should have waited a little bit longer, though, because only a couple of days after the tapes leaked, some of them are already going back and re-endorsing Donald Trump. Now, one of these is Senator Deb Fischer, Republican of Nebraska, when the tapes leaked, said that they were one of the most disgusting things that she'd heard in her life. And we thought, oh, that means that you then won't support that person to be the president of the country you live in. And we moved too quickly. Here is some video of her current position on Trump.
Well, like most Nebraskans, I am fully committed to defeating Hillary Clinton. I support the Republican ticket, and I plan to vote for Mr. Trump and Mr. Pence on November 8th. I put out a statement on Friday, and it was with regard to Mr. Trump's comments. I felt they were disgusting. I felt they were unacceptable. And but I never said I was not voting for our Republican ticket. So I would just say to you to look at that statement. We need to make sure that we support the Republican ticket. And I've said that from the beginning here, and I continue to support the Republican ticket.
Senator,
I did say, Mr. Trump, it would be wise for him to step aside and allow Mike Pence to serve as our party's nominee. And he decided he was not stepping aside. I respect his decision, and I support the Republican ticket, and that's a Trump-Pence ticket.
Okay, so it doesn't really work that way. You can't say, now, I demand that you step aside. Oh, you didn't? That's great. No problem. Then why'd you bother saying that
you
first
called
thing?
my bluff.
Yeah. All right. And then my favorites are two quotes from hers. Earlier, when she was saying that he should step aside, she said that his comments were, quote, totally unacceptable under any circumstance.
We found a circumstance.
Where it's apparently the one circumstance that is acceptable is if you're voting for him to be the most powerful man on earth. And now she says, quote, it's not even a tough choice. So unacceptable under every circumstance except the one circumstance that's the most important. Oh, that was an easy no-brainer. Yeah, that's the one circumstance I'm going with him on.
Yeah. And popular position, and we're going to get to some more. Now, she, unfortunately, this backtrack takes away some of the encouraging signs we'd seen from female Republican senators. According to CBS, of the 6 female Republican senators, 5 initially withdrew support after the tape was released, but now Fischer joins Senator Joni Ernst in standing by Trump. No real surprise that Joni Ernst was able to work through this very difficult time.
Now, we're going to see another candidate here in a second, but afterwards, I want to talk about why they're doing this.
Yeah.
So it's easy to say, oh, they're loser politicians and they flip-flop all the time, and there's a lot of truth to that. But there's something, a deeper phenomenon that I want to talk about here.
Now, first of all, third, I believe, ranking Republican Senator John Thune on Saturday called for Trump to drop out of the race. Not just, I'm not going to vote for you. I want you to go, sir. Go home. Now says he has a lot of work to do, I think, to win this election, but I'm certainly not going to vote for Hillary Clinton. Backpedal, backpedal.
Backpedal, Washington line. Okay, who won the backpedal? Was it Ryan Lochte? I don't know. They should throw Thune against them, see what happens. Okay, because I'm not going to vote for Gary Johnson. I don't think Gary Johnson should drop out of the race. He has every right to be in the race. Nothing wrong with Gary Johnson being in the race. I'm just not going to vote for him. That's a much milder statement than Gary Johnson is so goddamn unacceptable. He shouldn't exist, right? He shouldn't at least exist in this race. He should drop out entirely.
Well, hold on. Here's a strong statement from John Thune. This was after the clip was leaked. He said that the tape was more offensive than anything I've ever seen. Except perhaps Hillary Clinton as president.
Okay. The most unacceptable thing I've ever seen. Are you going to vote for him? Of course. Yeah, he's awesome. I like to vote for people who have done the most unacceptable thing I have ever seen. Okay. All right.
Okay, so we do have the other candidate, though. So this is a face that you're probably going to remember from the RNC, gave a very enthusiastic speech in support of Donald Trump, very aggressive against Hillary Clinton. Let's see. Daryl Glenn is, again, also backpedaling.
In the last 4 days, you've had 3 different positions on Donald Trump. First, you supported him. Then you called on Trump to drop out after he bragged about sexually assaulting women. You said that Trump is, quote, simply disqualified from being commander-in-chief. And then you said, essentially, well, maybe I'll support him after all. Check in with me later this week. Once and for all, will you still support Donald Trump, who you said is disqualified from being president?
You know, in honor of Yom Kippur, I think this is important when you start thinking about repentance. You know, I'm here because of a very strong woman. And what you saw over that period of time was real frustration and hurt, because we should never disrespect women. But what you saw on Sunday, you saw an individual that actually made an apology. I'm a deep man of faith, and I think it's extremely important that if somebody makes an apology, my faith teaches me grace, mercy, and respect.
You've built the core of your campaign on the fact that you are a principled Christian conservative. So I have to ask you, what is principled Christian or conservative about supporting, abandoning, and then inching slowly back toward a man who degrades women and boasts about assaulting them sexually?
Oh, this is where a teachable moment about faith. Because if an individual actually says that they need help and they want to repent, then your faith teaches you to give them that opportunity.
I hope that the atheists in the audience were listening, because that was actually a teachable moment about faith and what it can accomplish.
Yeah, and the hypocrisy of faith. All right, so, but to be fair, he's right. In honor of Rosh Hashanah, Diwali, Kwanzaa, and Festivus, I'd like to take this moment to further dump on Trump.
Yeah. Nothing against Yom Kippur, but Yom Kippur has absolutely nothing to do with Donald Trump and his sexual assault.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Now, look, I thought earlier the whole grabbing of the pussy thing was super disqualifying and terrible. But in honor of Yom Kippur, I think it's totally okay now. I mean, really? Really? That's the sentence you put together?
You could say, if you say it was really offensive and bad, okay, then you backtrack and you want him to be in charge of nukes. But you said he should drop out. You said he was disqualified. Mm-hmm. And then you prayed or something?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
In honor of Kwanzaa, I'd like to...
I moved on her like a bitch.
Okay, so look, I get what
Maybe Trump took him out furniture shopping or something.
Yeah, oh, okay, so it's not like we don't understand his BS excuse about redemption and, you know, and you get to forgive people and yada yada, right? But isn't it convenient that it's always a Republican that they forgive? That whenever it's a Democrat or a liberal, we knew it, they lack character, that is the kind of depravity we cannot have in the Oval Office, and they have no morals, and what happened to family values in this country is sinking because of people like this that have no morality whatsoever. Hey, what happened to Yom Kippur when you were doing that to Bill Clinton? What happened to Yom Kippur whenever a Democrat does it? But all of a sudden a Republican does it. Listen, man, I talked to Jesus about this whole pussy thing, okay? And he says, look, don't go for it. I mean, but if it's a Republican, give him a second chance. Bullshit. That's what I say, okay? Every time, these guys, every time. When it's a Republican, well, second chances. Mm-hmm. Whenever it's anyone else, no second chances. We judge. We judge them right away, right?
We judge whole cities.
So I will now judge you. So all of these guys, what is the reason behind their flip-flopping? It's not just that they're scummy politicians, which is what they are. And I love that the conservatives are like, oh yeah, the Democrats are all constantly flip-flopping and waffling. First of all, Donald Trump has flip-flopped on almost every position. Second of all of his bitches, honestly, here, and I mean that in terms of not moving on them like a bitch, but like, I'll do anything for you. Oh yeah, that was really bad. Oh, I'll vote for you anyway. That's these guys right here, okay? And it's not just because that they're pathetic. It's in terms of the waffling and the flip-flopping. It's also because that is their nature. They are weak. Mm-hmm. And so when people, exactly, right? So when people say, oh, if he wins, the Republicans will serve as a check on him. They won't let him do all these things. No, they will let him do everything under the sun. He's not, at this point, he's losing by double digits in the latest polls. And they're still like, oh, yes, Mr. Alpha Male. Yes, I beseech you. I give in to you. Move on me like a bitch, right? Now, imagine if he won and he's the president of the United States. Do you have any idea how quickly these people would get on their knees? They would say, oh, yes, sir, yeah, Mr. Trump, anything you want, anything you want. I thought the thing you did earlier was the most disgusting, depraved, disqualifying act I'd ever seen, and I still let you have my ass.
Now I like
Now, oh my God, have at it, Hoss. Take every orifice there is.
This sounds
And
like
I
a Donald
still
Trump
kneel
tape.
before you, right? That is who they are. They're craven. They're weak. So yes, they'll let this loser of a man walk all over them. And if he ever got into power, God help us all, because none of these cowards would stand in his way. None of them.